We will discuss the lungs today. You have the one on the left and the one on the right. Do you notice anything different? The lung on the left is shaped a little different. It leaves room for your heart. Here, I'll show you. Do you notice how the lung on the right goes pretty much straight down? Now your heart is about the size of your fist, your own hand. That's about the size that your heart is, if it's a healthy heart. It doesn't sit right in the center like some people think. It sits a little off to the left. Your lung is shaped differently to make room for the heart. That's the reason, because your heart sits a little further over. Within the lungs, there are three different pockets. For example, if you smoke and you get cancer, in the bottom pocket, they can take that piece off to where you just have the other two, and you'll be okay. That's just an example. On your left lung, you only have two because of the space because there's room for the heart. When you breathe air in, air goes through a small tube in your throat, and that tube is rough, and then it breaks off into two pieces. The tube divides. One side goes into your left lung, the other side goes into your right lung. The tube divides even further once it gets to the lungs. Looks like tiny little branches. Can you see the holes where these branch-looking tubes go into the lung? For example, if you're washing your body, the little tubes that go into your lungs, it's like a trading system. O2 goes in when you breathe in. O2 goes in through the tiny little branches, but at the end of the branches, there are little sac-looking things. It's almost like a raspberry. It's a cluster. Blood goes into the little cluster, and it coats the outside of it. So oxygen goes in, fills up that cluster with O2, with oxygen. And then what comes out is not oxygen, it's carbon dioxide. That's CO2, that's what you breathe out. So oxygen goes into the clusters and CO2 comes back out. It's a trading system. The oxygen that comes in goes straight to your heart, and then you breathe out CO2. So the system goes over and over. Oxygen comes in, CO2 goes out as you breathe. Now if you smoke, those clusters, they get coated with tar. They're supposed to inflate and deflate when the exchange happens, but if they're coated with tar, they can't do that. The exchange is much tougher to take place. The oxygen can't get in because it's blocked by the tar, and the CO2 can't come back out. So the CO2 starts to build up because there's no room for the exchange, and that's not healthy. You'll start to notice lots of problems when that occurs, when the CO2 can't come back out. Now when you're healthy, those clusters are very clear and they can inflate and deflate as you take a breath.